Welcome back to the program, and we're starting off with mental health. You know what they say about mental health. It's okay not to be okay. You are not your mental health. You're not your mental illness. But oftentimes when we're not okay and, we have cases of mental illness, what do we do about it? How do we take care of ourselves? Because they say prioritizing our mental health is a form of self-love. Well, let's have that conversation as we have joining us on the program this morning, Dr. Olusegun Ogunubi, who is a WHO certified mental health advocate and senior lecturer, University of Lagos, consultant psychiatrist, Grace Cottage Clinic, Lagos. Dr. Ogunubi, good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning, and thanks for having me.
Yes, so we're going to start with statistics. Speaking of which, last year we had that report from the Yaba Psychiatric Hospital that there was a 100% surge in cases of mental illnesses, and they were driven by economic conditions, most of them, according to the medical director of the institution. Now, at that time, things were not as difficult as they are now. We've experienced, a surge in prices of commodities between December 2023 and March. Speaking of which, from your standpoint as a medical practitioner, have there been also increased cases of mental health conditions driven by economic factors from what you have seen as a practitioner between that time and now?
That is a very wonderful question, and it's unfortunate that we're in a time like this where economic hardship, unemployment, political crisis, all these things are affecting people's mental health, our mental health. And to go straight to your question, I will say yes. However, the calamity is that while we've seen increase in the cases of mental illness, we discover that not even everyone can afford the treatment. So we see more cases, but they're not coming forth for care because they do not have the means to take care of their health. So now people resort to spiritual belief, even when they know that they need to combine their spiritual belief with healthcare services. What do we have? We have a situation where people will tell you, oh, I just want to spend 3 days. I just want to spend 1 week. And people are discharging against medical advice. Why? Because they cannot even afford the care, both in public and in private healthcare institutions. So we're having double-edged sword, where people have illness, they cannot even come to the hospital for care, but they would rather seek alternative form of therapy, which they consider available, accessible, and easily affordable. And that is the situation we are having now. So every time people say, you know what, I'm ready to fill the DAMA form, which is discharge against medical advice. No, you can't do this. This is a situation we need to use medication. No, it's okay. There's no money. We cannot afford it. We are not even eating, not to talk of take care of someone who has emotional illness. So that is further increasing the burden of mental illness in our society, and it's quite unfortunate. And of course, we'll get to the reason why people cannot afford what is happening to the social welfare in terms of taking care of those who have emotional illness, instead of them or their families paying out of pocket. Because when they pay out of pocket, then we have situations like this. But if mental health care is part of the basic social welfare that the people should enjoy, then we can say we will see more surges, and then we'll take this more surge in the increase of mental illness, and then we'll be able to take care of them. But what do we have? People have illness, they contact the hospitals, we tell them this is the bills, we have reduced the bills as much as we could, but they will tell you, we'll call you back again next time, and they never show up. Those who decide to show up after 1 week, and we know that the care of mental illness cannot be taken, completely overcome within a week or two. but they decide to go for alternative form of therapy, which is sad.
And not just sad, but it's also quite telling about the situation of things. Speaking of which, you can confirm that there's also an increase in the cost of treatment, which is why, they're opting for other means. And then you can also tell us what are the symptoms of those who are coming down with mental illnesses, the ones that you have seen particularly in recent times.
Yeah. Two by-pronged approach to your question. Thank you very much. I'm going to tell you that, of course, increasing the cost of mental health care is there. For example, those of us that run private healthcare institutions, I remember in those days when we want to go and buy food for the clinic, we will likely take taxi. Anytime we want to buy food around 200,000, 500,000, we will go to the market and taxi we have to come into the estate to supply the food. But now with 500,000, the cook will go and we just take Ghana must go. The food is there. I say, what? Is this 500,000? And because of that, we need to also take care of these people because they have to choose what they want to eat. We'll take care of them in a dignified manner. They say, we want this money. Why not compromising the healthcare standard that we give them, the services? We discover that we need to increase our prices. Even in public institutions, the price is a little bit increased. But even at that, people cannot afford it. And what are the symptoms that we are seeing around? It is not uncommon that in a situation like this, we will have cases of increase in addiction. That I can tell you is so preponderant. Where people, and why? When people cannot afford the 3 square meal, they cannot take care of their wives, they cannot take care of their children, they go into depression, and in an attempt to overcome the depression and anxiety feelings, they resort to maladaptive coping strategy. And there are many forms of maladaptive coping strategies. Time will not permit us, but I will quickly say addiction to different forms of drugs. Alcohol addiction. They want to just drink themselves and drink their sorrow away, not knowing that the sorrow cannot go away. Once you are okay, you will come back to your problem. And then the next thing is they want to take again until they get from the level of purposeful use, control use, and then they get to the level of dependence. So dependence on alcohol, dependence on narcotics, dependent on opiates, dependent on, amphetamines, stimulants, all sorts of things. People are taking all sorts of things now to get high. People burn rubber, gutter water, people pick latrine, petrol, air deodorant, air freshener, anything, even including fire extinguisher. They take any form of thing to get high. Paint, thinner, whatever you can think of, people just inhale, smoke, inject, drink so as to get high, because these are the substances that affect mood, behavior, and thinking. And so when they take these substances, they are not able to feel any problem, and they think it's okay until they get to addiction level and they can no longer control, but the drugs are the one controlling them. So that is the problem we're having. We see cases of depression more now. People come around with depression. Some of us, some people will come with anxiety. Some will have post-traumatic stress disorder. Maybe they've laid up a lot of people in their place of work, and the next thing is, oh, will I be the next? Will I be the next? Chaotic environment all around us. People are anxious. People are having panic attack. All of a sudden, you just feel as if you want to die. You just feel as if you want to collapse. You feel as if your breath is ceasing. You can't sleep. You can't sleep. So many things. People are coming up with psychosis. You know why? When people have lofty dreams, when people have ideas, I'm going to graduate so time, I'm going to marry, I'm going to do this one, and all of a sudden, things are happening. All your friends have disappeared. You can't see them. Some have died, some have disappeared, some have jackpot, some have... At the end of the day, you just look at your life as, what is the essence of life? Is it not just... So many people are dying that we are not even knowing. Many people are having a lot of emotional problem that is further increasing or worsening or aggravating their physical condition. When I cannot sleep, I'm always thinking, what will happen to my blood pressure if I'm hypertensive before? My blood pressure will surge. And when it surges, what happens? It affects the kidney will shut down. So many people are having increase in physical condition as a result of psychological imbalance, because there's a nexus between our mental, our emotional state, and our physical condition. And so many people are going to private hospitals, public hospitals for hypertension, for renal kidney problem, for many other physical problems, either two that would not have shown up or be exacerbated if their mental state has been very calm, if there's a job, economic stability, they have money to spend, everybody is happy, everybody is cool. So you can see that it's a vicious cycle we are having here. Doctor, I'm having high BP. Doctor, my tummy is paining me. Doctor, I cannot sleep. I'm having migraine. Because the man is thinking. Why? Because of fear he will be laid off. How will my children go to school? What are they going to eat tomorrow? So we're having chaotic cycle, emotional problem, physical problem, all of them. And unfortunately, there's no money to take care of them. So what happens? People resort to alternative form of therapy. They take all forms of concussion, which are not regulated. And this further damage the kidney, damage the intestine, damage. You know what? We have problems on our hands. It's a chaotic situation. And that is why when economic situation is like this, we should not only think of, inability to eat and cool, we must think of the consequences that these things are having on our mental health and the secondary effect on the physical health, and it's a vicious circle.
It's quite an expansive explainer that you've done, and we can literally see the entire picture. But let's bring a bit of structure to the data in terms of male, female, girls, boys. What category of people do you see this thing impacting on the most in terms of people going down with mental health disorder, given the economic situation of the country?
Yeah, to be candid with you, I'm very sure there are researches are ongoing. For example, I spoke with a professor of mine, Professor Mrs. Abiodun Rishewe of Olabisi Onabanjo University. And then she was talking to me about, she's a professor of pediatrics, and she was talking to me about the number of malnourished children presenting in children emergency ward, unprecedented rates of case of malnourished children. So in terms of how it's affecting, children are coming up with malnourishment, protein imbalance, kwashiorkor, and co. Now, in terms of adults, of course, you know, most of the time, women tend to seek help more than men. So you are going to see more of women in the hospitals seeking help. Men, we believe that they can, you know what we say in our society, man it up. Strong men don't cry, real men don't cry. We are not changing the slogan that real men do cry, they weep. Real men not only cry, they weep. And it is okay not to be okay. You know, and that is why, you know, having a problem is not a problem, as Mohbad sang. The fact that you have a problem is not a problem. So we are changing the statements now. So most of the time, men don't come. Men would rather think till they have physical conditions or they die, till they think of suicide, till they become depressed or they go into addiction. But most of the time, women come. But this is affecting both men, right, male, females, children alike.
And it's quite interesting the way you put it, that it's okay not to be okay. Men don't just cry, they weep, and that's okay as well. And I'm just wondering, for those listening now, and they're like, I can relate with this. This is literally me you just painted, whether a man, woman, or young person. And they're thinking, what kind of coping mechanism can I then engage? What can I do to help myself? I don't know how much people are willing to visit a counselor, talk more with a psychiatrist, or to get medical help. It's not a big thing here, even though we're trying to, as much as possible, encourage people to get help. But at least start from where they are right now before they then escalate it. What is the best coping mechanism? Some say, I'll just limit my exposure to the outside world, limit my exposure to social media, try to just cut all of those things and, and exist in my bubble. For some other people, they go all out. So what is the best coping mechanism first to begin with before you then escalate to get help?
There's a trial that we normally use when people are depressed. We say a state of worthlessness, a state of helplessness, a state of hopelessness. So I tell people, the first thing you want to do is that you don't want to get to that level of hopelessness, worthlessness, and helplessness. Therefore, I bring the message of hope. I'm not Mr. President, but Mr. President has been giving us hope. Hope keeps a man alive. The day you remove hope from the life of a man, that man is nothing. And when I say man now, I'm not being gender specific. Hope. Because once you become hopeless, you're opening the door for mental health issue. When you see yourself that you are worthy, you are capable of doing something, you are living, you are not only existing, you are closing the door for or closing the door against mental illness. When you see that help is around you, you don't see yourself surviving alone. You know that help will come. That is another way of closing the door against emotional trauma, emotional problem. So these are the things that no one can do for you. You are the one that will do that for yourself. Keep hope alive. People have survived on hope. People have been stranded in the sea, on the island, and the only thing they had left is hope that they will be rescued one day. And from literatures and co, we have seen that hope has been able to keep them alive. The next thing is, this is the time to recalibrate. This is the time for everybody, every family to readjust their cost of living. This is not a time to say my friends' children are going to private hospitals, private schools. They are traveling 4 times a year. Oh, I don't want to be left behind. I want to also do. And what do I say? I say, cut your coat according to your clothes, not according to your size. It is not. In fact, that is there is an old adage now. It is cut your coat according to your clothes. So if it is 1 yard you have, is it top and short knicker? You don't have to get agbada out of it. So you must begin to limit your costs. Know that these are the things I can afford. Oh, for now, I can't take my private car out. Let me join the public bus, transportation. These are the things I need to, these are the schools I can afford to take my children to. These are the meals we can afford to eat. Children, our family meetings. Children, situation is not like before. The money that my take-home pay can no longer take me home. These are the situations. It is not a shame. Don't pretend. Oh, your children are overseas, they are schooling. You used to send them 2,000 every week. Children, we need to manage this time around. Find a job to do during the holiday or during after school hours. These are the amount I'll be able to send now. This begin to cut costs. And then the third thing I will say is, think inward. What can I do that will fetch me multiple stream of income? What are the gifts that I have? What training do I have to go and get? And the truth is that government should not take you out of poverty. I mean, I don't see the magic happening very soon. And we want to survive. So you need to begin to think, do I know how to weave? Oh, I've learned tailoring before. Oh, I'm good at fish farming. Oh, I'm good at agriculture. Oh, you may have to go back to the village, acquire some lands and, produce. So just begin to think. Begin to think, oh, my car, let me register it for Uber. After work, maybe I'll just do 1 or 2 trips. At least it will fetch me additional source of income. Okay, and these are the ways that people can survive this economic instability and economic situation.
You know, what you said about not allowing oneself get to the stage of helplessness is very, very instructive. And I hope the message hits home, particularly to those who are going through mental health issues, such that they don't get to that point of no return where they take that decision that doesn't help them and doesn't help their loved ones. For those people around people who are going through mental health, how do we help them? How do carers help those who are going through any form of depression or mental health challenges?
Lovely question. And I want to say these are common questions that we get from time to time. Relatives will call us, oh, my husband is going through this, he's no longer active, he doesn't have interest in sexual relationship with me, he doesn't play with the children, he's always in his room, he said he's always out drinking, he has picked up habits that he's not used to before. Oh, my wife has changed, she's now so panicky, any small thing, she's anxious, she has breathlessness. Oh, we get all sorts of this. And the question is, I've told her to seek help. I've told her to do this. She said, nothing is wrong with me. There are some states, there are some psychological states people get to. They're either going to denial, they are aware of it, but because of the adage that, oh, you must be a strong man, only the weak get depressed. You know, that's what we say. If you say I'm depressed, they say, are you weak? Come on, be strong in the Lord. The joy of the Lord is your strength. What is wrong with you? We try to, ginger people, as we say. But when people are in that state of depression, where they have low mood, where they have, reduced ability to do things, and they are so weak, and they have pessimistic view about the future looks gloomy, they're in that melancholy state of mind. There is nothing that you can say that can get them out. And that's why you need to seek help for them. I always say that there's always somebody they respect. There's a level in which you can counsel them, you can assist them, you can help them, you can give what we call social support. If somebody is thinking that he doesn't have money and everything, sometimes getting that person additional source of income may get him out of depression. There's what we call flight to health. It's a phenomenon where just changing people's situation, they will be okay. And most of the time, people go to some of these, alternative form of therapy, and then they provide one solution or the other, and they're okay. And they say, oh, I've cured him, I've healed him. It is flight to health. Why? Because maybe it's a reactive depression. It is not due to internal problem, familiar problem, and co. It is due to circumstances around that person. So if you have the means to help, it's not a matter of praying for someone or helping someone to seek for help. When the way you can help that person is right within it's in your pocket, or you have a job you can offer that person. I don't want us to be hypocritical about it. I've seen people that have sought help for people, but in my mind, I'm like, this lady is going through a lot. You can help. This man is going through a lot. You have the means to help. This is the time to come together and help one another. So if you cannot help and you are struggling and you are trying to counsel, then look for significant others in that person's life who he or she respects a lot. And then say, you know what? I want to talk to you. You have been observed to be doing this. This is against your normal norms and the way you used to act or behave. You will need help. You need to see doctors who are specialized in mental health. If you mention psychiatrists, they will run away. So many of my colleagues said that we have used different names. Some will say we are neuropsychological agents. Some will say we are neurotherapeutic. Some will say we are neuroscientists, behavioral. So we just try to pack it. But psychiatrists are medical doctors who did residency and eventually trained to specialize in human behavior and abnormal behavior and bring them back to good health. So some will run away when they hear psychiatry because of the stigma. So you talk to them that there is a mental health counselor, physician, just for the significant person to be able to convince these people to come around for care. But before then, what do they need? Can I provide? Can I help? Can I assist? These are the ways, because we must come together to help, each one helping one. Thank you.
Doctor, we just have barely 1 minute to wrap up this conversation, but we would like you to speak to the issue of the impact of social media on the mental health of people and how to work around it. 1 minute, if you can.
Thank you so much. Social media is doing a lot of good, bad, and ugly. You can see. I will not come here to say that social media has failed us or social media has helped us, but ability to maintain the balance. If you notice that each time you read news about, because for a long time I wasn't on social media because I just discovered that when I wake up and I read news, oh, trailer crushed 1 million people, 1,000 people. Oh, 50 people have been laid off. Oh, 70 people killed. Oh, I just avoided it because I can't wake up in the morning and the first thing I go is either on X or I go on Instagram, Facebook, and all I see, I hear, I feed my mind with negativity. So people must understand that social media has also provided opportunities. Sometimes you hear questions, if you have 500,000 now, what will you do? And you see over 4,000 comments, and you read through the comments, oh, what are the ideas people have with 500,000 naira? And then that can help you as well. Job opportunities on LinkedIn. People have gotten to US, Canada, America, UK, just by getting job on LinkedIn that they were in Nigeria. People have seen opportunities. So we have the good, the bad, and the ugly. I would just advise people that they must learn to maintain the balance, not spend excessive time feeding their minds with negativity and co. But if it is for entertainment, fun, you are able to laugh. As you are laughing, you are increasing endorphins, good hormones that will make you feel happy. It is good when you use it. But when you notice that this thing is affecting, its ability to know thyself, know yourself. And when you see that it's affecting you adversely, try to stay away for a period of time. Thank you.
Quite a productive conversation that we have had so far, Dr. Ogunubi, and there are two operative words that we're perhaps taking away: help and hope. Hope for those who are mentally challenged, and for those who are caring for them, helping them as much as we can. We'd like to thank you very much for your time on the program. Dr. Olusegun Ogunubi is a WHO certified mental health advocate and senior lecturer at University of Lagos. Thank you very much for coming on the program. And we hope that helps you as well as it has us on this side of the divide. We'll continue with our conversation as we switch gears to the next segment. Stay with us. We'll be right back.